number one, in building all these organizations, you need to have a vision of what this company is going to look like. Say, when you die someday, when they look back at the obituaries and they say, when they look back at the enterprise that you put your hand to, a vision is something that's like 30 years on out. And they said, he was part of architecting and designing an organization, and just not doing digital marketing, but doing something that really moved the needle on behalf of other organizations.
And here we go, guys.
Good thing, most people say, damn, he's got a process.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Process.
Damn, he's got a process.
Welcome back, guys. Another episode of The Process. I'm here today with Scott Began. A super treat for our audience today. I mean, Scott is a phenomenal guy, phenomenal businessman, but an even better person, and that's huge. This man's been a CEO of multi-million-dollar businesses. He is just a community leader, just a really phenomenal person. I can't speak enough nice words about him. And today we're going to talk about how to position your business at the very beginning. So that way, when you do decide to exit, when you do decide to sell, you're in the optimal position to maximize on that. A lot of people don't think about this until it comes time to the end. And really the ones who aren't thinking about this usually never get to that point anyway, because they usually don't have the foresight to make it in business. But the ones that do, they definitely will cherish this information. So without me rambling on too much, I'm going to let Scott do his thing.
David, thank you for the introduction. I think the words make me blush, so thank you very much. I think in having said that I've run a lot of corporations just means really that I'm old. So yeah, I've been around a little bit. So, but this is all brand new to me, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit with your family, your audience. We are in Dallas today, and we have developed, with the help of several other partners of mine that are much faster, quicker, and better students in the digital marketing space. We've come into agreement to put a digital marketing agency together. And so we're in the middle of all that. We're just in the early stages of what that is and what that looks like. So hopefully we can provide some insight for your audience tonight.
Please. I'm sure we're going to absolutely blow their socks off.
Some of the things that were important to us is that we always, from my past business experiences, I brought it to this particular space. Number one, what an exciting time to be in the digital marketing world. Unbelievable. I feel re-energized and more excited about the business and potential opportunities. We are met with such open arms with the people that know that they need to do something different in this digital space and are looking for solutions, and they're looking for people that they like and that trust. It goes back to basic business. With the partnership that we had, we began, David, with the end in mind. And, so we're thinking, what's the end game? What's that look like? And we're building towards that in the early stages of that. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I tell you, it's a brilliant way to look at it. And I know Joseph Galetti was on this show as well. He talked about the moon landing, when those engineers were trying to figure out how to get to the moon. One of them came up with the idea of, guys, let's pretend we're already there. And what does that look like? Let's reverse engineer it. And that's how they were able to actually complete that process. So what you're saying, when I'm lucky enough to have you in my life, in my circle, and be mentored by you, and you kind of told me the same thing, like, hey, what's going to happen? What's the exit plan? Like, what are you working so hard for? What does the end result look like? And I was like, wow, I always thought we're just going to do this forever. Everything's going to be great. But, you had me sit down and really think about, make sure that we when the opportunity arises, if we're prepared for it, we'll be able to maximize that. It can literally change my family's life, and my kids' life and my kids' life. So just super blessed, to have you in my life, and also for you to be able to share this information with our audience as well.
Well, when you take a look at what you want, it allows you to dream and have a big vision, because people will follow men and women with a big vision. because a lot of us are fighting the struggle on out to just, long-term planning might be the next Friday, and how is rent going to be paid, and how you going to get the car payments made, and that sort of thing. If you can get beyond that and know that there's plenty of money. Number one, there's not a scarcity of money. There's plenty of money in the world for everyone. I mean, there is no scarcity of money, and that's a major thing, because people say that if I help you along, well, you're taking out of my pocket. That's not true. And it's this community that we're building, sharing information, sharing best practices that can open up the expansiveness for everyone that wants to do this. The most important thing about working with the end in mind is that you need to have a vision for what the organization what is your impact? What do you want to do? What kind of people do you want to surround yourself with? Do you want to be able to travel? Can you put a system together where you can do and work remotely? We have a family. I have 6 kids, and we're coming to the end of putting kids in college, so we have heavy duty expenses. But more importantly, we're looking, my wife and I, as when we become empty nesters, what do you want your life to look like, and how to have the freedom and the cash flow to do the things that you would want to do. And quite frankly, we love the idea of traveling and being able to do this remotely. So that's some of the things that we're putting in mind today.
Oh man, I love it. Empty nester, I'm thinking maybe like the house on the beach in St. Vincent or Mexico, something like that, but still be a part of something where it's not like, I have zero responsibilities. I don't know what to do with myself, because I feel like I always want to be in the game a little bit.
That's right. And I don't think from a biblical perspective, it never talks about retirement in the Bible. And I think what gives us energy is the ability to work with others and to give back and to share some of the thoughts. And I'm energized by some of the younger guys that I'm working with that really have an appetite to understand this industry. From a practical standpoint, David, one of the things that we put into place was an operating agreement. I'm not a big fan of paying attorney bills. We got to build a power team. And what I mean by a power team, 2 things. I need CPA, some guys that are just absolute pros that can provide us with good relationship and good information. Does it get costly? It can get costly, but in the long run, we're teeing you up for the future. Mm-hmm. 2, an attorney. Someone that can help you with an operating agreement, all the other nuances that help you with your contracts with clients and a lot of different things. Insurance guys. I mean, we're putting ourselves out there. There's some risk associated with this whole thing, so you need some prudent guys that need some insurance to protect their assets and some of the things that they're building. So I'm surrounding myself with this loosely held power team that all my partners and I can agree to are the good guys, in so to speak.
Yeah.
In addition, we're also building our bench out, 1099, people that want to do creative things, videographers, copy, all these type of things. We're building an entire bench of what we call bench strength, and we're deep in building those relationships and people that want to do business with us. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. When I think of bench strength, I'm thinking like in the gym, lifting up those weights. But I like your version better. So you're pretty much building out the business in a way that that you guys are protected and that you guys are ready for growth. And I'm telling you, like, having an attorney, having a CPA, having the right CPA, having the insurance, like, these are little things. They don't cost you much at the beginning. Well, the attorney can, but for the most part, they're just little things that most people don't take those extra steps to put in place, and then they wonder why things fall apart later on.
Some of the counsel that I had is that good fences make good neighbors. And what they meant by that, if you have a proper understanding and operating and how decisions are going to be made in the organization, and who gets what share and what's that look like, and how's money distributed, and who gets to make those decisions, and what are the compensation and the organization, all those things. If you think that on out and put it in black and white, not some people will say, well, you're handcuffing me. I need the free flow. I need to be able to move and groove and do things on my own. Well, that's all well and good. But if you have sort of a basis of how you guys are going to make decisions together, then it really serves a purpose. Keep in mind, too, that we're trying to build an organization that can sustain itself. In other words, that if you're doing your job right, you as an operator can stand aside. I always had the adage when I was growing on and up and taught by my father, he is greater who can build 5 men than do the work of 5 men.
Wow.
So
Wow.
if I'm able to train and develop the next generation of leaders without feeling that my ego is at risk or these guys are going to know more than I do. Someone says, man, you're all about personal development. I said, I am. And they said, man, what happens if you plow all this money and you train people up and they leave you? And I said, what happens if you don't train them and they stay? I mean, who wants those guys?
No, absolutely. I mean, you just dropped something that was so profound, and I want to really let that marinate. You said he is greater who can build 5 men that can do the work of 5 men. And I think as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we usually start off trying to do everything ourselves. And I don't think we dedicate the time that's necessary to sit back and say, okay, what does my next hire look like? Who does that, what does that role look like? And how can I empower them so this way I can go on and grow the company to the next level, scale to the next phase? And I thank you so much for bringing that up, because I think that's so crucial and so huge.
Yeah, I think some guys that are sort of insecure with who they are and what their capabilities and skill sets are, that they're reluctant to bring in people around them, surround them, that are faster, quicker, smarter thinkers than they are. And I think one of the giftedness and some of the ways that we've been able to build organizations over the long haul is that once you set your ego aside and you're saying, it's not about me, it's about the organization in entirety, that you can paint a picture for high performers. And you are, as a leader, you are not overcome. In fact, you applaud the fact. I have some young guys that are running with me that are phenomenal thinkers. They are so driven and to understand the cutting edge of what this industry is all about. And quite frankly, I can't do the business without them. But they also know that there's this sensibility and a little bit of my gray hairs in the side of my temple didn't come. That brings a little bit of sensibility to a lot of the decisions and how we're building the business over the haul. But you need to draw people onto the vision that are just absolute rock stars in what they're doing and what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean the vision. You can't. I guess you can buy it, but that vision, wisdom is gained, through experience, and there's no shortcut for that. So I want to get into a little bit about what are some of the things that you can do now in your business, so this way when the opportunity arises for you to sell or your exit strategy, what are some of the things? I know we touched on a little bit, but just what are some of the things that you'd recommend that that people do right now to kind of make sure that they position themselves in the best way possible?
Yeah, number one, in building all these organizations, you need to have a vision of what this company is going to look like. Say, when you die someday, when they look back at the obituaries and they say, when they look back at the enterprise that you put your hand to, a vision is something that's 30 years on out. And they said, he was part of architecting and designing an organization, and just not doing digital marketing, but doing something that really moved the needle on behalf of other organizations. We get caught into the concept of what is in it for me. But the end game is, if you're focused on what you're doing for other people, how you're growing, how you're bringing richness to their life, how you're increasing their organizations, if you're able to put that into a thought process, less than a paragraph, a vision of who you want to be known for in the days ahead, that will be a great fundamental basis. This is hard lifting. Then the mission. What do you do day to day to day? That we provide, we grow and provide revenue streams for our clients through digital marketing and advertising. And then most importantly, when a lot of guys, when they're building these organizations, it doesn't come naturally, but you got to sit down and say, what are our values? In other words, I don't care what we do. I don't care if we're selling Kleenex or we're selling huge multimedia marketing. It's those things that are not negotiable. In our organizations, it's integrity. Whatever it is, even at the risk of us blowing up, we will always tell the truth, even at whatever the truth is. And that's one of those keystones that I don't care what industry you've got to say, this is what we're going to do. And I see guys that stand by whatever those teamwork or integrity or innovation, creativity, whatever we stand for, those are non-negotiables no matter what we do. So there's real power in writing some of these things down.
Hmm.
That's sort of the keystone and you build because when you get into these businesses, I think you'd agree, you can get lost with the ebbs and the flows and the people coming and going, and you're going 3 weeks in the future, 3 months, and what are we doing? What? So you have this basis to get back to. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I joked to my wife the other day that every day I'm coming home with a headache.
Well, yeah, there's days like that. But if you're able to bring your head above the clouds and take a look at what you're trying to build over the long, you can see that the pain is probably the building blocks that you're putting on a daily basis are building that foundation for the future.
And I imagine that it really helps out with when you're trying to fill a role. You're not just looking for a skill set. You're looking for a set of values that matches with the company, the feng shui, the way the company operates. It just allows things to match up in a way that's just truly blessed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because when you start standing for something, you're not going to fall for anything. So that goes true in your hiring practices and the people that you draw onto the organization. They've got to say, you've got to flush that out and see if they share the same values that you share and that those things are non-negotiables. Because I'm telling you what, you're setting yourself on up for people that have cross purposes working against one another. It won't flush itself out in the first day or two, but I'm telling you what, over the long haul, it'll become a point of contention.
Well, Scott, man, thank you so much. Any last bit of wisdom you'd like to share before we wrap this up?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to your audience. There's so much more that's going on, and it's a blessing to be able to. I just get I've played football and been parts of sports teams, and from a business perspective, for an opportunity for someone that loves the thrill of being part of a team, building these digital marketing agencies and doing that. As part of the thrill is not only architecting the team and watching the organization come to fruition, but it's men sharpening other men and women sharpening. If you surround yourself with like-minded people, part of the greatest joy in this is that we're all becoming stronger because we're working with each other. Yeah, and I think that's a power of things that we can work on in the days ahead. So, thanks for the opportunity.
I would offer the audience like opportunity to how to get in touch with Scott, but he's not an easy man to get in touch with. Maybe is there like a business page, Facebook page, a website, just something where if someone's like, hey, I'd love to chat with this guy and see if maybe he can help me out with some of the things I'm working on. How do they do that?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's idealogicgroup.com, and then you can find out how to chase us down there. We're some of the new guys down in Dallas. Idealogic, it's the word Idealogic put together, group.com. So
awesome. Scott, thank you so much. And guys, it's been another episode of The Process. And as usual, afterwards, we will create a detailed roadmap of just some of the wisdom that Scott bestowed upon us. And we'll have that for you to download, guys, for free. So looking forward to the next episode and see you guys later.
Thanks, David. Have a great day, man.